All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Anybody who doesn't know me, I'm Ryan Koslen, the Associate AD for Communications. With us, I've got offensive lineman Jeremy Cooper, running back Gerrid Doaks, and defensive lineman Malik Vann. We're going to go ahead and go right to questions. So if you've got questions, either call them out or go right ahead and go with them.
Well, I'll start. What happened today? I mean, can you guys kind of walk us through? You were scheduled to have practice, and then that decision was to not have it, and then instead to kind of talk amongst yourselves. So how did that all come together?
Yeah, so I can kind of like speak on that. So Coach Field kind of put together like a team, a social awareness team, and he was like basically telling us like he wanted us to like come together and kind of come to with ideas of what he thought should be done. And collectively, we kind of came together and said that we should put out a statement as a team saying that we see the social injustice going on around the country and, like, just put out something as a team and, like, say that we stand together. And through everything that's going on, we wanted to postpone practice and just kind of take a moment to see everything. You know, obviously things is bigger than just sports. It's not just about football. So that's the main reason why we did.
To speak on that, we also felt like it would be best for us to, take the time to educate all of our teammates as one, because everybody can handle this a different way, and especially with college football being one of the top conversations in the country, what's better than us to address the situation and put it out there, that we're educated on the situation, on what's going on in the country, and, that we're taking a stand, speaking on what's right.
And also educating people on what's going on, even in the past. Like today, not many people on our team knew about the Emmett Till situation that happened all those years ago in 1955. So, and 1955 isn't that long ago. And we were just trying to educate our teammates and team members that, like, of the situation, what happened. Then we kind of led it to, like, now with the Jacob Blake situation that's going on and the George Floyd and the Breonna Taylor. So we were trying to, like, our coach Scruggs, he, like, led that part of it. And then we had like a team discussion about it. And I felt like progress was made.
How important is that level of education to be able to talk to everybody on the team, to be able to involve everybody to where it's not just what you guys are feeling individually, but being able to come to kind of a consensus on, where everybody stands as a team and where you guys stand as a brotherhood?
It's very important because, these are the people that you're going to be around every day, especially with the season coming up and all this going on. You want everybody to be educated on what's going on in the world because, it affects everybody in a different way. So, you don't want to be preparing for a game and then, something else happens in the world and, it could really affect, like, especially the those that are, like, African American on the team. You want your teammates to be able to come to you and support you, or, like, they know that something's going on with you, and then instead of them, like, kind of just shrugging it off and, like, it's like, it's not my problem. It's like we want everybody to have the same knowledge on what's going on, so we can all help each other, get better from the point. And then when everybody sees us getting along more, that could possibly help, those watching us. It's like back to, like, how I said, since we're one of the teams that's able to play this fall, people are going to be looking at us. And, if we're out there, like, providing information and speaking out on the social injustice and showing, like, that what's going on is wrong, people can look at us and like find the positive in it, or like find that we're trying to make things right, you know. So as long as everybody's educated, it helps everybody kind of cope together and make a difference.
Yeah.
You guys are dealing with the virus too, obviously, and from talking to Coach Fick and talking to some of you guys, that seems like it has its own challenges, but that's something where you want to figure out a way to play through that. What about this is a totally different thing. How does it change the vibe in terms of wanting to be out there and practice or focusing on football? How much harder has that been with something like this as opposed to something like that?
I mean, it's harder in the sense of like knowing what's going on, and you have to go out there and play, knowing that like, I don't want to say we're lucky, but like we're more fortunate in the sense of like we're around people every day that we can talk to about this stuff that's going on in the world, whether it be the coaches or other players, and we can all have an open and honest discussion about what's going on, and people not knowing about certain things or being like ignorant to certain things that are happening in the world, and we just can have those free range conversations to where like if somebody doesn't know or is ignorant to the fact, like you can point them in the right direction, or they can like research themselves, come back to you and talk about certain situations that are going on. And then that helps ease the issues that may occur from all the thing that's happening happening around the world with all the social injustices. And we can all as a team collectively move forward instead of having this one overlying topic like holding us back. Like we haven't like something, if we hadn't addressed this, or we hadn't addressed like the George Floyd or the Breonna Taylor, like we've done all of those things. So like having those open and honest discussions help us as a team move forward with everything that we're trying to accomplish.
So a big part of what you're getting at is like a big part of this is listening, especially for, you know, people that maybe aren't people of color or haven't experienced those injustices or inequality. Do you feel like that's happening within the team, that there, as much as there are people standing up and talking, there's people listening too?
Yeah, for sure. Like even when the Black Lives Matter march happened back in June, like we had our trainers come with us, like Aaron Hemler was with us, Michelle Galvin and Jordan, they were all with us. Like they just came down there to see like what we were talking about. And then us and Aaron and Michelle all had a talk after, and they saw it. They like, okay, like this is what they mean. This is what people are talking about. Like it was an eye opener to them. And I'm like, as long as like we can change one person like that, like at a time, then the rest should be not that hard to follow, or just like hearing people out and just listening and just having that moment where it's like, okay, this is wrong. We need to find a way to move together in a strong and positive way, and not just all negativity all the time.
How important has having a voice like Greg Scruggs been for you guys? You know, not only as, you know, the player development guy, the role that he was in, now he's on staff, but he seems like a guy that is able to speak to you guys and rally you guys around stuff like this. So what is his role? How important has he been through this process to help you guys out?
I mean, for me, like, I know Coach Scruggs called me last night, and he was just kind of getting my ideas about what I was thinking. And I think the good thing about Coach Scruggs is that he kind of has, like, his different caps. He has a cap for football. He has a cap for just, like, you know, regular, just everyday life. Like, he's not just all around, like, just a coach. He also can understand, like, everything that goes on, like, in life. And he was just telling me that, you know, how do you feel about it? What do you want to do? What do you see, like, as teams? Like, what's your guys on the teams doing? And I feel like having him on the team is kind of good because it kind of gets your mind just off, just focus all on football and, like, focus on actually things going on in the country, around the world.
Having him as my coach has been a big help too, because like he's always he's more accessible to me, And there was sometimes even in our own meet rooms, like we stopped, like we didn't even talk about football before heading out, or we didn't even talk about football for a lot of reasons. And then we just had open discussions about the stuff that was going on. So I'm sorry, he just threw me off my train of thought coming in here. We had open discussions about what was going on in the world, and he was able to like hear everybody's perspective because we have a diverse D line. So if somebody like Basovich asked the question, it wasn't like us getting mad at him, it was us just trying to help and educate him to like see what is going on in the world and why we feel the ways that we do about certain things.
On that note, I was wondering if any of you guys wanted to speak, individually, just from your own self. How do you guys feel about everything? What do you want to voice out about what's going on right now in the political climate, racial climate?
If I'm gonna say anything, I just, it shouldn't be this hard for equality. Like it's been going on for years, and it just seems to not get better. We're like protests have been going on; those turned violent. Like everybody, we're trying to like people of color, people that are white. Not everybody, and that's the thing. Not every white person is racist. Not everybody's bad. Not all cops are racist or against black people. It just those certain few that just make it hard for everybody for equality to be a thing, especially during these past couple months. It's just, I don't know. It's just like, it's so much going on where like you could say one thing and then it just keeps happening. One day you might think, okay, somebody's doing something good, and then the next day it just back to normal. It just I don't know why it's so hard for equality to be a thing. We need change.
I think one of the things that we've seen this week more than I've ever noticed in the past are Black voices, athletes current, athletes past, TV people expressing the things that they've been through, why this is impactful to them, why the images of a Jacob Blake or a George Floyd affect them differently. How has that stuff resonated with you guys that now there are people talking about not just what happened, but how what happened makes them feel, how what happened impacts them and why? Have you noticed that, and what impact has it had on you?
It's different because every day, us being of color, say if we go out and we come in contact with the police, like growing up, we're like, we're taught to like do what they say, don't talk back, because it's like things like what we see going on today are we're scared. You're scared to talk to the police. Our lives can be taken just like that, especially with all this social injustice. And those that are white, some like they don't have to worry about that all the time. And I've seen multiple videos, people speaking out, like the Titans, they just posted a video, and their quarterback, he was saying he has kids and he never has to worry about if they're gonna make it back home. But those of color, that's their main worry. Like, I don't know if my kids is gonna make it back home, and that's just like an everyday struggle we have to go through. But and I know most people understand that that's like what's going on, but that's what we got to worry about. Because when we're at football, everything's fine. But when we're outside of football and on our own, we never know what's going to happen. Say we run into the police, we get harassed, and they can say whatever they want happen. And from what we see, that's what people are going to believe. That's what they're going to believe. But, you know, I think that's why it affects a lot of athletes that speak up, because we've been through things that, you know, really touch us.
For me personally, seeing people like a LeBron, seeing people like a Chris Paul, Russ Westbrook, standing up and saying something gives you more confidence to want to say something too. And it just helps us as athletes and even college athletes have more of a voice and more of a say in the things that are going on, and finally reaching a breaking point to where it's like, it doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter what these people are talking about or what they're saying about me. This needs to change. And so like those guys just help us as college athletes set a platform for what we can talk about, no matter how like real or serious or how any of that goes. Like what are the after effects of it? Like it doesn't matter. Like it needs to be said, and somebody should say it.
I can say one thing. When it comes to speaking out and like getting our voices heard, Coach Fick, like he's told us, like, if you have something to say, if you want to say something on Twitter about situations, say it, don't hold it back, you know. And I think that helps a lot of us also. I'm sure it's plenty of coaches out there that's telling their players, watch what you say on Twitter, don't, you know, kind of be cool on Twitter or social media. Like Fick wants us to be heard, you know, because he cares. He cares about the situation going on. He wants us to be able to speak, because, you know, we got a freedom of speech. Why not use it?
Guys, I'm curious. Me being a Black man, this week has been extremely difficult, given the heightened awareness of everything, players wearing Black Lives Matter on courts, and yet this still happens. How has this week been for you guys? You're having to focus on football, school's back in session. Has this just been a really difficult week emotionally for you guys?
Yeah. It's just been a lot going on, you know, because us dealing with playing football, having to deal with avoiding, you know, COVID, and, you know, all the social injustice going on. It's just, you know, it's a lot to deal with, but, you know, it's just something we have to overcome.
Yeah, I'll definitely agree with that. I know, like, before we came back on campus, Coach Fick like laid it out and told us that, like, you know, we got to be smart when we get back on campus. There's a lot going on, and I mean, as far as just COVID, as far as just like social injustice, as far as football in general, school, it can kind of be taxing on you just like mentally. But you kind of like, you have those people like Coach Scruggs, you have like those people like in the training room, like people that you can kind of talk to and like kind of get your mind off everything, which is like, is good in my case. Just kind of like compartmentalize everything and just know, like, even everything out. Like, know, like, you don't have to force everything at one time. Just know that you can kind of like have a time to just like break down and just like talk everything out, breathe, and just keep going.
It was late May, early June when you guys did the Bearcats United campaign, kind of in the wake of the George Floyd killing. Is it frustrating to still be talking about it basically all over again, or do you feel like there's been growth and progress within the team and maybe that part's encouraging?
Within our team, there definitely has been growth and a positive change forward. Like, just like I said earlier, like having the conversations that we do, like unfiltered, doesn't matter what you're going to say, like having those type conversations about what's going on has helped our team tremendously. And it, like, And like within our own unit personally, like it's helped us grow, like on the defensive side. Like we've had these conversations, we we know people were ignorant to it before, but like they're starting to learn, they're starting to see. So like as long as we keep doing that, like as a team, hopefully everybody falls in line eventually. Or not falls in line, but like gets it eventually, then we'll be way better off.
So from a team standpoint, where does it go from here? Where does it continue? What have you guys talked about to continue this process?
I know Coach Fick. He told us like a plan for tomorrow. We're gonna have like meetings in the morning and like lifting everything. He was saying to like break out in our own units and kind of like bring up awareness in like our own units individually. I think in smaller groups it might be good just to like bring up different ideas about what's going on. Like explain to them what was the reason behind today, and not just to not have practice and not just to to not practice, but it was a reason behind what we did. It wasn't just to not play football. It's things that's bigger than that. That's bigger than football. So I think tomorrow, moving forward, just raising awareness and within our own team and keep that going. This is only one step, and just what are we trying to do as a football team. So I think this is one step in the right direction.
And hopefully, as a team, like we don't ever have to visit the topic again. Honestly, that we can just start to move forward and make a positive change. And if we can do that, like as a team, to like do something within our community, okay, do something within the whole city, okay, do something within the tri-state, okay, then do something within the whole state. Like I know the Northeast Ohio professional sports teams are doing some. Like if we can start making changes like that in positive ways, then I think we'll be pretty good moving forward.
You kind of just said it, but has there been any conversations as far as reaching out to local councilmen and women and local legislators are like, yo, can we get some rules changed? Because that's how I feel like until there are legit legislation out there and there's some sort of accountability, I feel like the protests are cool, but nothing's changing, obviously, because we're here again. So has there been conversations amongst you guys of, can we reach out to legislatures? Can we reach out to lawmakers and see some sort of tangible change here?
Yeah, Coach Scruggs has talked to, because he is my coach, like we've talked about like doing stuff like that. And one thing we did make sure everybody did was be registered to vote. And that was one of the biggest things that we were pushing for when we were at camp in early August. And then we all finally got it done from Coach Scruggs and Coach Mason and Coach Fick. So that was one of the biggest things we wanted to do. And then moving forward, we were trying to find something that we can do with the legislation of rules that we can hopefully make a change to or add.
Any more questions from anybody? All right, seeing none. I want to thank everyone for hopping on short notice. Malik, Jeremy, and Gerrid, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks, fellas.
Media,
Thanks,
we will send this out so
Appreciate
you guys can have access to it as well.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Appreciate it.
Have a good night, y'all.
Yep.